So, start off by telling me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to school, what you graduated with, all that.
Brian Rice from here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I graduated with 2 degrees in sport management, one undergrad, one master's, but throughout my career in college, I worked with the women's athletics department back when they were separate, and worked in the media relations office, then later with the volleyball team, and still a little bit in media relations. In the years in between, when I graduated in 2007 and now, I kept writing for the website as original content sort of grew and grew and grew, and eventually they brought me in full-time to write. Then they went in a different direction, as media sources do. Different things were the focus. So now I freelance for the utsports.com website and do play-by-play for Sports Radio WNML for the Tennessee softball team, which I've done since 2013.
Can you tell me how you got started with a career in sports?
It really started back when I was 7 years old. We lived next door to Debbie Jennings, who was the Associate Athletic Director for Media Relations for the Women's Athletics Department. She said, when you come to college, you're going to work for me. And sure enough, as soon as I came to college, I walked in and said, all right, what do you want me to do? And she put me to work. And at that time, the women's department was very small. Everybody sort of did some of everything. So working in media relations, I got to experience all sorts of different things, and it ended up that writing was my specialty, and took some journalism classes, even though I wasn't a journalism major, but working in the department and doing those things really helped me develop my own voice so I could tell a unique story when I told our athlete's story.
What was your path to success like, and how did you get some of the jobs that you got?
Path to success was all over the place. It was a lot is just being in the right place at the right time. And that's very difficult for people to hear and for to understand, but really it was writing features on our student athletes in sports that didn't get a lot of media attention at just the right time when we needed them. When I was writing features to start with, the local paper wasn't doing a lot of non-revenue sports. It wasn't talking about the softball team or the tennis team. Now they've gone hyper-local and they want to tell those stories. So I was in the right place at the right time that I was able to do a lot of those stories, and that led to a job eventually writing about football, and primarily football, but still doing stories on all the sports. And, on the play-by-play side, it's sort of the same way, right place, right time. Right when schools got the ability to live stream their events, they needed somebody who had a passion for play-by-play. I'd never done it before. I'd never done it outside of calling PlayStation games to myself, but they needed somebody who was willing to do it. I was willing to do it, and it turned out I wasn't bad at it. And we were so small time that I got to develop my voice there as well, to where now I'm on the radio, now I have SEC Network Plus events, and have been up for some TV gigs just because I was able to develop myself, and those opportunities have come along.
So who are some of the most interesting people you've got to interview?
Peyton Manning is at the top of the list, and he's at the top of the list because when he gives out his scholarship every year, he comes here. We did a story with him on what the scholarship meant to him, and that year he didn't do any other interviews. He did a group session a few weeks before when he was here for the coaching clinic, but I got to do a one-on-one, and I found out later that he doesn't do one-on-ones with anybody. And so it was very special when I found that out later, and I have a picture of it up in my office that was taken of he and I talking. So he's always going to be at the top. Terry Francona is another one of my favorites. He did the leadoff banquet here the year between the Red Sox and the Indians when he was with ESPN. And so we talked informally about things, and then we talked about some of his philosophies on baseball. It was very, very interesting. Getting to talk to J. Pierre Ancibia when he was with the Toronto Blue Jays about his memories with the Vols. Freddie Gonzalez, former manager of the Braves, was a student assistant here, and he said his year at Tennessee was one of the things that molded his coaching career. So hearing from those people what impact Tennessee had on them, whether they were here for 4 years, 3 years, or just 1 year, was really special and are memories I won't forget.
What skills do you think are necessary for a career in sports?
I don't know that we have enough time to list all the things that are important, all the skills that are necessary. The biggest is to be versatile. You never know what you're going to have to do working in sports. Today it may be writing a story, tomorrow it may be being on the radio, it may be being on TV. You have to find a way to be comfortable when you're uncomfortable. You have to find a way to use all of your skills at any given time. So being versatile is the most important thing, and it's also the most difficult thing, because we're in a comfort zone of this is what I do best. I would say work on things that you don't do best. Continue to work on your craft of the things that are best for you, but also bust your ass every day on the things that you aren't good at, because chances are there's going to be a time where you are going to have to do a job that you're not good at, and you're going to have to do it better than anybody else because that's the job. Communication is the biggest skill. Look up from your phone and talk to people face to face. Call them instead of texting them, because communication is something that people are lacking. And if you're a good communicator, person to person, you're going to be a good communicator in other mediums, and you're going to be ahead of your peers that aren't good communicators. And communication can solve a lot of problems, and it can get you a long way, especially in a world where people don't communicate.